Wow, gosh, I wonder who it could be. Yo, what is up there, guys? With the Wiz back at it again for another Kingdom Hearts video right here, right now. So let's get right to it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to put on your thinking caps. Who or what is this mysterious thing in the pod that Luxu put in from the latest Kingdom Hearts Union Cross update? A seed of light to be planted in the future. The true Dandelion. Alright, there's a couple things we need to put in place before we even start to digest who this person could be, or, you know, or what this thing could be. Number one, of course, is look where Luxu is at. As you can clearly see, the room is completely perfect. It's intact. It is not destroyed like how we recently saw it from the Loriam and Maleficent fight. So this is telling me most likely that Luxu is in the real world. Meanwhile, of course, Loriam and the rest of the Dandelions are still in the data version. So here comes the big problem when it comes to deciding who this person or what this person could be inside the pod. And that, of course, is when exactly is this scene with Luxu taking place? There's only two possibilities. Number one, this scene could be taking place the exact same time as Ventus is fighting, or it could be taking place after the Ventus fight. So two different scenarios. So let's go ahead and talk about scenario number one, which is going to be, of course, let's pretend that this scene is happening at the same time as Ventus is fighting. Okay, so if that's the case, then, well, who or what could be in this pod? Well, clearly it can't be Ventus. It can't be the player. It can't be any of the Dandelion leaders. So that gives us a couple of options. So let's go ahead and discuss some of the more obscure ones before we get into the more realistic ones. But hey, the obscure ones could be that thing or person inside the pod. So possibility number one, the true Dandelion. Could it possibly be Demyx? I know, sounds kind of crazy, but hey, it's really not that crazy when you think about it. Demyx is the one character in which, when it comes to his story, where he's from, we still don't know jack about him. He is such a mystery right now within the Kingdom Hearts universe. He either has to be from Quadratum, Verum Rex world, or it's got to be from the Age of Fairy Tales like the rest of the Dandelions. It being Demyx, though, is going to be kind of hard to swallow because, man, you're telling me Demyx is such an important character, but he's always playing around like as a coward. I mean, hey, we do see that Demyx does have a bit of a serious side to him, so I mean, I'm just gonna say, wow, that's some crazy big responsibilities to throw on Demyx. It would totally catch people off guard, so I'm just gonna say Demyx is a possibility since we still haven't seen him. Although I'm not really gonna put too much into the fact that it could be Demyx. But hey, you know, this is Kingdom Hearts. They always like to surprise us. But the possibility number two, of course, is none other than Elrena, aka Larxene, you know, later down the lines. Now, I say Elrena because we haven't seen her in a while. Where has she been? It's not like she's extremely buddy-buddy with Loriam. They just had like one conversation and that was it. But it would be pretty crazy to learn that Elrena has such a big major plot. She's a true Dandelion. I mean, she does kind of have that attitude with her, so she doesn't really seem like a true Dandelion to me. But not to mention, of course, if you may recall in Kingdom Hearts 3 when Sora defeated Larxene, Larxene said, "I was just in it for the ride." So it sounds like she just went willingly with Loriam. Doesn't sound like she was captured by Luxu or anything along those lines. So Larxene and Demyx are possibilities, but I'm not really going to be putting my money too much on that. I have seen some people say that this could be Sora, Riku, and Kairi. I'm just going to stop you right there, seeing as how this body or whatever that we see Luxu holding is kind of tall for it to be like a 7-year-old. Plus, that would just throw in a world of, you know, craziness. Like, that would mean that Kairi's grandma isn't even her grandma, and, you know, Sora is just supposed to be a normal, average, everyday Joe according to Nomura. He's not special, except for the fact that he totally is special. But regardless, yeah, it's not Sora, Riku, and Kairi, so throw that out the window. So let's go ahead and talk about some more realistic characters, which, of course, could this actually be Master Ava? You know, I'm starting to put my chips that it could be Ava. Number one, there's a couple reasons why it could be Ava. So let's go ahead and look back. We did see that Ava did have a conversation with Luxu and they started to fight. We never saw the outcome of that fight, so people are assuming that Luxu must have knocked out Ava and, of course, you know, put her in the pod. There's a problem with this, though, and that, of course, is we do see later on in the Keyblade War that Master Ava is there. So, I mean, if she was there, then that can't be Ava in the pod. But hey, there are some possibilities. Maybe that Ava that we saw in the Keyblade War wasn't actually Master Ava. We did see in this game that darkness can take the shape of people, and it did take the shape of Master Ava. So hey, that Ava that we saw in the Keyblade War might actually be darkness trying to impersonate her. Or it is entirely possible that maybe even after the Keyblade War, Luxu went ahead and beat up Ava. Now, I think there's a lot of signs that it could be Ava, mainly because the true Dandelion. Well, if you think about it, Master Ava's whole shtick was to gather the Dandelion, so I guess you could consider her a true Dandelion. And we did see at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, Luxu was like, I guess Ava didn't make it after all. Maybe he's like, oh crap, I guess my plan failed. I don't know, there's a lot of things pointing that it could possibly be Master Ava, because again, we have not seen her whatsoever. We don't know where she is. Maybe she's in the same place where the other foretellers were, or heck, maybe she could be Kairi's grandma, you know, the true Dandelion to plant the seed, you know, Master Ava, you know, becoming Kairi's grandma, then, you know, having Kairi and Kairi leading to Sora, this and that, you know what I'm saying? That is a possibility, but at the same time, if you look at a character like Vor from the whole Kingdom Hearts Dark Road thing, I don't know, Vor looks like she could definitely be Kairi's grandma, because she fits the age and time period and everything as Master Xehanort and Master Ericus. So Master Ava is a possibility, but I mean, I don't know. Hey, it's a strong one, but I'm not 100% certain of Ava, because there's a lot of variables that kind of take into place that it might not be Ava. So if it isn't Ava, the only other real character that it could be would be Strelitzia. But here's the problem with Strelitzia. She doesn't have a body. We clearly saw, like, you know, her body faded and her heart went to like Kingdom Hearts Heaven or something along those lines. Unless Luxu was somehow able to reclaim Strelitzia and put it in like a body, then I guess it's possible that it could be Strelitzia. I mean, we did, in fact, see that Strelitzia was wearing a white coat in this dream sequence of Loriam. But the big question, of course, would be just like, how the heck did Luxu require Strelitzia when she's dead? But hey, it is entirely possible that the person inside the pod might not actually be a person. Maybe it's just a puppet, because we do see that Darkness says, what is that? You know, like, why would you say, what is that to a person? This might be a thing, but I guess the question would be like, did they even have replicas or bodies during that time period? I mean, heck, they were able to make Chirithes, so who says that that might not just be a body? And then, you know, that body might be like a waypoint for when Loriam gets his memories, and then Strelitzia will return? I know, I'm kind of reaching over here, but we also have to take into consideration, would this puppet even survive the trip? I mean, if bodies won't survive the trip, will a puppet survive the trip to the future? I mean, a puppet's an inanimate object, so maybe, you know, like Thor's hammer, like, if you're not worthy, you can't wield the hammer, but if you put the hammer on like a coat rack, it'll still technically work, because it's not an actual person, you know what I'm saying? Possibilities, gotta think outside the box here. Once again, it could be Demyx, it could be Larxene, it could be Master Ava, it could be Strelitzia, or it could just be a puppet of some kind, or a completely new character. But don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, that was just scenario number 1. Now let's take into consideration scenario number 2, which is that perhaps this scene with Luxu is taking place after the Ventus fight. Then there are more possibilities, and the first one, of course, is being none other than Ventus. A lot of people are assuming it's Ventus because, you know, we see that the thing in the pod, of course, has like a white robe on. And technically in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, we did see Ventus with Xehanort, and Ventus was covered up in like a white robe towel thing. But here's the problem that a lot of people aren't paying attention, because, you know, you didn't read the secret reports. Master Xehanort knew Ventus before that whole towel thing. He separated Ventus from Vanitas, you know, making one pure light, one pure darkness, but because Ventus was getting so weak or whatever, Xehanort thought he was gonna die, so he took him to Destiny Island, which was that scene that many people have seen from Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. So it sounds like maybe Xehanort just kind of met Ventus somewhere else. I mean, hey, it is entirely possible that maybe this was Ventus and Xehanort just decided to hold on to the white towels thing, but again, man, this really depends on when these scenes took place. But I can see why a lot of people consider it Ventus because of that one scene. And not to mention, Ventus is pretty much the catalyst of this whole story. If it wasn't for Ventus, none of this stuff would have happened. Xehanort would have never, you know, created a being of pure light, pure darkness. The whole let's summon Kingdom Hearts, everyone getting stomped, Aqua, Terra, and then of course that, you know, creates Kingdom Hearts 2, Kingdom Hearts 3, Kingdom Hearts 1. That created everything. Ventus is such a key figure, but I don't know. It might actually not be Ventus. Remember, this is Kingdom Hearts, so they like to throw us off quite a bit over here. So if it isn't Ventus, then, you know, it could possibly be the player. A lot of people are saying that maybe the player is actually Xehanort, and that actually isn't that bad of an idea, because of course when we do see Xehanort in Kingdom Hearts Dark Road, when he's on Destiny Islands, we do see that he is kind of having these memories, and some of those memories are that of the player. So yeah, take that into consideration. I mean, hey, it might just be a fluke, but with Kingdom Hearts, I don't think there's really such thing as a fluke, you know what I'm saying? Plus that transition that we saw from player to Xehanort, yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, Xehanort is a pretty big, you know, important character within the Kingdom Hearts series, but could he be considered a true Dandelion? I mean, Xehanort is kind of considered a bad guy, but he was just a bad guy with really good intentions. I don't know about that. It's a possibility, but I'm not really thinking it's actually going to be Xehanort. Other than that, though, it could be, you know, Subject X, which maybe is Scold. It could be any of the Dandelion leaders, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm leaning a little bit more of this scene taking place at the same time as Ventus was fighting. So it's either got to be, in my opinion, Master Ava, a puppet, Strelitzia somehow, some way, shape, or form, or it's just a completely brand new character that we haven't been introduced yet into the Kingdom Hearts series. But guys, that is basically it for this video. So I know a lot of different scenarios, a lot of possibilities. So what I want to know in the comment section below, of course, is what are your thoughts? What are your opinions? Who do you think could possibly be in this pod? Or do you think it might actually be a thing? Maybe not an actual person, maybe it's going to be a puppet. And of course, the million-dollar question to determine any of this is, do you believe the Lushu scene is happening at the same time as Ventus is fighting, or is this happening sometime later? To me, it really does sound like it's happening at the same time, because we did see Lushu say to that one darkness, like, how come you're now with your hole? I'm assuming he's talking about the darkness that Ventus is fighting. But, you know, this is Kingdom Hearts theories. Whew! We're just gonna have to wait years to get the actual answer. So guys, leave all your comments in the comment section below. If you like the video, make sure to give it a big, massive thumbs up. That helps me the channel out quite immensely. If you aren't already, you can follow me on my Twitter. Same thing as my YouTube channel, EdTheWiz, Instagram, MattSwag12345, where I post all the good stuff. Discord, link will be in the description below. So until next time, guys, I'll catch you later. So peace.